Hello, and welcome to a nice little review. So today we'll be talking about a Game of Thrones 1996 novel. I don't even know if that's the actual year. It seems like a good number. 1996, I was fucking right. You all fucking know what Game of Thrones is. You know? The first book in A Song of Ice and Fire. I don't exactly need to give everyone the lowdown. It's a book. It's a long book. It's a good book. So rather than doing a general kind of one-over review as if it's the first time I've read it, this is the second time I've read the series. So evidently I love the series if I'm revisiting it and rereading it. I'm not one that's going to reread a book that I was middling, felt meh about. So I love A Song of Ice and Fire. I haven't read it for a decade. I've watched the TV show probably 3 times from start to finish, and probably watched the first 4 series like an extra 3 or 4 times. So it's fair to say, whilst I don't remember the details or anything, I love Game of Thrones. So I'm approaching this review from the instance of rereading it. And I will say that it completely lived up to and overextended past any parameter that I was expecting. Before we get into it, please do like, please do subscribe if you enjoy. Let me know how you feel about doing this style of, just going back to the style of review. It was a delight to go through things in a kind of systematic way. First off, I want to begin with the prose. The prose is delicious. And I mean delicious because my man can't stop describing food. And I know that there's the easy joke there. You know, I'm not even going to touch it because I'm the exact same. Every time I read him describing all the food in this book, my stomach was growling. I was getting very peckish. So I understand completely. Other than that, I would describe his prose as a great blend of different styles in the sense of how approaching different genres. So sometimes it feels very historical fiction, the way it's alluding to things in the past. It also has the wonderful mystery throughout. It's like a coagulation of all these great genre. It's like a Venn diagram of all these different things with Martin in the middle that makes it feel extremely unique, extremely rich, and 100% love his prose. I have read a lot of reviews on Goodreads and stuff that I know people describe him as tedious sometimes. I think that's through the over description of armor and the kind of family lines, etc. But for me, that is a net positive. It makes me feel invested in the world, and it makes me feel like the world is rich and real when you're getting these descriptions of their swords and the armor they're wearing and everything. It's all inciting the character and who they are, how they oppose each other in that manner. Prose flawless, 100%. I do think that the pace kind of drops a little partway in there, just for little segments of the book, because so much happens that I think sometimes when you've got a couple of chapters that don't have something, you feel that little bit of a drop off that then rebounds. But that just shows that there is so much that happens in this book. Next up, world building. I've already alluded to it. The world building is possibly, other than Lord of the Rings, my favourite world in any fantasy book. I absolutely adore it. And in the sense of how depthful and how much you can dig into it. It's not like, I do love Abercrombie, I love the world building in the Stormlight Archive, etc. They all have fantastic world buildings, as in at that time. I know Stormlight Archive, I know what you're thinking about, fucking going back 1,000 years and everything. Personally, I don't give a shit about stuff that took place thousands of years ago. That's just me. Yeah, this one comes down to, there is a real sense of recent history, and the foreshadowing that goes on goes forward and backwards in time. That there are such wonderful secrets and mysteries throughout this, that the foreshadowing around the world building is just impeccable. And I picked on so many little tidbits and little sneaky sentences and references to character descriptions or relations that, where you know where it's going, it just feels impeccably and gorgeously crafted and put together. That I, once again, have no flaws with world building. If you want a book that is going to feel like you just are enthralled and drawn into this world and the setting, it bangs. It slaps hard. Character work, banging as well. Everyone is incredible. There are poignant lines throughout. There are poignant characters throughout. There are assholes, funny people, funny assholes. Everything you want here as well. Man, I can't fathom how much I loved reading this book again. It's not a book for the faint-hearted, to say the least. There are countless, innumerable triggers throughout. So, especially around acts of sexual abuse, etc. That is unfortunately the world in which this is taking place. And whilst it's in keeping with the world, it leaves a sour taste in the mouth, it's fair to say. There are a couple of instances where I feel like it falls into how, like, trying to get a point across as quickly as we can. What's the best way to show that someone's bad? Rape. Like, how do we show that this culture... It's kind of that sense where sometimes I feel like because there is so much happening and we're progressing so fast, that sometimes I feel like the effects and the aftermath of these events can be lost. Because characters need to move forward and progress and move forward with the story at hand. So, however, I think that changes later in the series sometimes. So I think that I will see how I feel later in the series in terms of whether I think that he has changed on that, whether he's progressed, etc. However, that would be my only detriment. Otherwise, it's stellar. Love it. It bangs. Also, currently, we are doing a read-along of all of A Song of Ice and Fire, which is in tandem with Joanna's and Alex from Tall Guy Reads, and I'm going to forget everyone that's involved with that. I think Joanna Souza is involved, Jolien Reads, and is it Red Fury Books, or... Oh, God, I'm going to forget. Whoever it is, I apologise if I was wrong. Just off the top of my head, I'm trying to remember. But yeah, so it's in tandem with that. However, just on our Discord, me and Grace are also doing a tiny read-along with a few people in the Discord. So there's still plenty of time if you want to get involved. We're doing a book every month and a half maybe, and we'll see how it goes. And if you want to join later, we're all still going to be in chat wanting to talk about it. So would love to see you there. Okay, I think I've gushed enough. I think I've gushed plenty, because great prose, fantastic world building, phenomenal characters, slight pacing hiccup, but what you fucking gonna do? It's a book that's that long. It's 800 pages. The fact that I only have a slight problem with pacing is fantastic sometimes. I will be back next month when I read A Clash of Kings. I'm going to continue this for all the books. I will be in Joanna's discussion, kind of spoiler discussion. I don't know whether it's spoiler or non-spoiler, but you'll find out when you're there. For a Game of Thrones, so if you'd like to see that, I'll share a link anyway when it actually happens. But head over to Joanna's channel. I'll be there with Grace as well talking about it. And as always, have a nice rest of your day.